Hey, greetings all. I guess I have to say that I'm kind of new to uh, putting YouTube videos up on YouTube, so you'll have to bear with me. It's really my first time. I put up a couple of things, but no big deal. I'm loath as a rule to get involved in politics, even though I'm a retired Marine Corps and I have very strong political feelings, as you might expect as a Marine. But something that just happened in the Ukraine-Russian war it just about made me drop my coffee cup. And as you can tell, with any Marine, coffee is very important. I'm pretty sure my heart would stop beating if I ever stopped drinking coffee. And specifically, I'm going to talk about this incident where the Russian defense minister called the U.S. SecDef and complained about the fact that there was a possible plot by the Ukrainians, to assassinate Vladimir Putin. Now, and as I understand from what's been printed, that the U.S. called Ukraine and said, don't do it. Well, excuse me, but as my memory serves, from the very beginning of this war in February 22, Vladimir Putin has been outspoken about doing away with neo-Nazis in Ukraine and removing Vladimir Zelensky as president of Ukraine, even though he's Jewish. And I don't know about you, but when the Russians talk about removing, well, we know what they really mean, and that's just a fact. Now, what really bothers me, but this is what bothers me the most, that the U.S. SecDef would have responded by saying, hey, we'll give them a call and, we'll tell them to stop. Why? I mean, they're still the Russians still want to assassinate Zelensky as the first shot they get. What are we going to do if they actually succeed? There's still plots out there that we know of. And that's what I think is the height of hypocrisy in this. That we have a government on the one hand who says we're supporting Ukraine, and then telling Ukraine on the other hand, but don't do anything to win the war. Now, my father was a World War II veteran, and I enlisted in the Marine Corps in '69 during the Vietnam era. And in his entire life until he died in '67, only one time did he ever make a comment about the war in Vietnam. After Walter Cronkite one night, he kind of got up and muttered to himself, why are we fighting a war we don't want to win? Well, I think that's the crux of the issue here. Why are we trying to keep Ukraine from fighting a war and winning? What is the point? If we're not going to allow them to win, why bother? Why do this? And even worse, that you would have the nerve to stand there and tell Ukraine, don't go after Putin because it could cause World War III. Well, hello, I got news for you. We could end up in World War III anyway if Russia wins. And believe me, I was an intel officer in the Corps. I studied the Russians for 20 years of my career, the former Soviet Union and Russia. And you can see books behind me. These books are all military history, and a lot of them devoted to Russia. I have a saying, maybe others have it as well. How do you know if the Russian government or leadership is lying or being hypocritical? Well, if their lips are moving, they're lying and being hypocritical. That it takes a lot of hypocrisy on the one hand to tell the U.S., hey, don't possibly start World War III by allowing the Ukrainians to assassinate Vladimir Putin, while at the same time we know that there are still efforts out there by the Russians to assassinate Volodymyr Zelensky. So Hey, if I bored you with this, I'm sorry, but I guess as I'm getting older, I'm getting a lot more ornery. It's just a shame that we're hamstringing the Ukrainians and not giving them the opportunity to win a war, to prevent another war. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if the Russians win in Ukraine, I guarantee there will be a war in Europe. And I will also guarantee there is no way the United States can avoid another war in Europe. I don't care what anyone says about isolationism. There's too much connection between the United States and Europe to avoid any war in Europe. And people would be wise to realize this and understand the best thing we can do is help the Ukrainians win the war, whatever it takes. So with that, Semper Fidelis, I hope you have a great day.